Hi, my name is Diana, and I'm from Marshfield, Wisconsin. I love Finding Balance because several years ago, the Lasting Freedom curriculum that Finding Balance offers impacted my life significantly. This ministry has made me feel cared for, supported, and understood as I walk out my journey of freedom through Christ with a community of women who champion me on. Finding Balance is a nonprofit ministry that helps women find Jesus in the middle of their struggles with eating disorders and other food and body image challenges. We provide Christ-centered resources like prayer groups, this podcast, the Hello Freedom community, and more to meet women where they are on their freedom journey. We're a crowdfunded ministry supported by monthly giving from people like me. To learn more or become a freedom giver, visit findingbalance.com.
Hey friends, it's Chrissy, and welcome back to the Old School Food Freedom Podcast, where we are about to kick it as old school as it gets with how God created us to live, and that is free. Free from body shame, free from dieting, free from food rules, free to be free with Jesus. Leah Bryant, welcome back to the Old School Food Freedom Podcast. I'm so glad you're back with me.
Well, thank you so much for having me back. I am really excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. I say welcome back like you're not part of every single episode anyway, behind the scenes. Friend, she is our fabulous producer of the Old School Food Freedom Podcast. So if you haven't heard her episode on episode 74, where she shares her story about what it has been like to work with Finding Balance with Old School Food Freedom Podcast, how she came to just produce was what she thought, but God had other plans and he did some healing work in her. So really good episode, 74. Check it out. But let me tell you a little bit about Leah Bryant. She is a podcast growth strategist and coach known as the Sherlock Holmes of podcast strategy, who helps entrepreneurs and small business owners turn their podcasts into powerful tools for visibility, authority, and lead generation. She also serves as the fabulous producer of the Old School Food Freedom Podcast. With over 2,000 produced episodes and more than 50 successful launches, Leah brings strategic insight, storytelling, and production expertise to every show she touches. When she's not decoding growth patterns, you'll find her homeschooling her son, Ezra, or spending time quietly with Jesus. Leah.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, friends, behind the scenes, we are both going through the fun times we call perimenopause, and it is just so much fun. And it's nice to, that was snarky if you didn't know already. It's really nice to have, if you have to go through hard things, right? To go through them with someone who gets it and makes you feel less alone.
Yes.
We took the first 30 minutes we planned to record. To talk through some things. And so now we feel a little bit better, a little more reset. I'm still tongue-tied, but it's okay. Thank you, Leah, for being that.
Thank
that
you
friend.
for being.
I still need to hear your story about that remix of the Golden Girls theme song. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road. Starting from the bottom, now we're here, girl. You know what I mean?
I gotta find it.
Please do. So much fun. Okay, well, hey, every episode we kick off the show with a question of what old school item or experience do you miss from back in the day? But you have already answered that. So today I want to know, tell us about like some of your first old school jobs, like back in the day jobs.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So I am originally from Kentucky and grew up on a farm. So if you are a farm kid, you know that your first job was on said farm.
Yes.
Outside of that, my first job was at a Rally's.
Rallies. Okay, hold on. That sounds familiar.
It's like a burger joint.
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
think we had those in Kansas City area.
Not many of them exist. And if they do, they're probably more down south.
Okay.
And then it was the movie theater.
Did you come home smelling like popcorn? Everything?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Dream.
Everything. Yes.
Oh, buttery.
It was my all-time favorite. The most favorite job I ever had.
Isn't that cute? Why was it your favorite?
Because I get to socialize with people. Of course, you get to make popcorn. Who doesn't love popcorn and smelling like popcorn, all the things. And then Maybe. Got to bust kids trying to sneak into movies they shouldn't be sneaking into.
Back to your investigative days from the past, right? Yeah. No
Just
one's coming in here.
Holding down the law here.
Enforce the rules.
Right. Just making sure people do what they're supposed to do. But it was just a lot of fun. Like, get to see any movie I wanted to for free. It was just really great. So much fun. I loved it.
That's super fun. Were you a ticket taker, a food person, or did you get to like rotate?
All of it.
All of
yeah.
it.
The only thing that I didn't do was up in the projecting area because you had to be over 18 to do that.
Oh, yeah. I always have a question. I know there's somebody out there listening wondering this. When you see that projection room, I'm always wondering, does someone sit in there the whole time the movie's going for every movie, or do they start it, looks like we're good, and leave?
They start it and then they leave.
And so if something goes haywire...
Because that's why if there's something happens, somebody always like, there's something
They'll tell
wrong.
you.
And then like...
They paid good money to see this movie and it's not working. They're going to let you know. This is true. Yeah. I mean...
Now, things may change now because,
digital.
technology.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, at least that's way back then.
Back in the 1900s.
In the 1900s.
Because it was. That's so fun. So rally and a movie theater.
Yeah.
Aw, so cool. Well, that was fun. I liked that. I would have loved to see you in the theater. I might have been smuggling snacks. Did you bust people for that? Could you look through their stuff?
No? I didn't really bust people for that, but we could have. Yeah. Because
listen, I'm not proud of my shady past. Everybody's done something they're not proud of. I'm just courageous enough to tell you I smuggled some kind of snack in there. All right.
We get it.
Well, enough about my shenanigans, my 90s shenanigans. So here's today's episode. We're talking body gratitude and the gift of movement. So what happened here is a few months ago, I learned a part of your story, Leah, that I had never heard before. And it really moved me. And just the way that God worked in your life through such a really difficult health situation was nothing short of remarkable. And it was hitting especially close to home because of health concern my husband was going through at the time. And so in both of your stories, I just found myself really overwhelmed with gratitude for the gift of being able to move my body and, however it looks, whatever size it is, that size in those moments didn't matter.
Right.
That, man, I can walk and I can brush my hair. I can do these things on my own. I can take care of my husband who isn't able to walk well right now or whatever. And so hearing your story, it was so powerful and motivating. And I just felt that our listeners here, they could really maybe see themselves too. I know a lot of us struggle at times to, like we want to move our bodies, but we just can't seem to find our way there. It's like, what is going to be the thing that helps us get up and move? It's not shaming because that doesn't work. That's just, set up for disaster. And so that's kind of what we're looking at today. So Leah, I guess just take us back and start with your story.
I would love to. So if you can, picture it. So this is serious. I don't know. Part of how I deal with trauma and what I've gone through is to be funny. So please know that as I'm telling this story, that this is very serious. So if you find yourself or know someone who's having back pain, that back pain is very serious. And please know that my joking about it is just how I deal with it. I just wanted to say that first.
Yeah, you're not making light of this at all. It was
not
serious.
At all.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But, and there are also some, like God has a sense of humor, right?
I agree.
And, right. So do we. And so it's joy.
Yes.
And laughter.
Yes.
To help balance. Like this is helping you find balance.
Yes.
For something that's really heavy. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So it was 2011. I was living as quote unquote normal as I was, active and healthy and all the things. And I had always had back pain, growing up on the farm, doing all the things, lifting all the things. I could do anything you can do and I could do better type of thing. And in my 20s, it progressively started to get worse. And one day, it started to get a lot worse. And if you know me, you know that I really don't listen to my body. Really bad about that. Until it's to the point where it's like screaming at me, like, hello, there is something definitely wrong. So I just kept saying, I'm fine. Totally fine. This back pain, totally fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Well, it got to the point where I was indeed, in fact, not okay. And I finally went to a doctor on a Monday morning. And he looked at me like all of 2.5 seconds and was like, okay, we're going to send you next week in for an injection of steroids to help with inflammation, your pain, all the things. Great. Anything that will help, I am here for it. So I had an action plan. I went home. So the couple of days had passed, and then Thursday morning, I had woke up and I was in so much pain. When I say excruciating pain, like I have never felt pain like this before in my life. I would almost say it was worse than having a child. That I've had a child, it was worse than that. It was really bad. It was so bad. Like I couldn't move. I was doubling over like the whole 9 yards. I was questioning all life decisions. So bad. And at that point, I was like, Leah, let's be smart about this. You cannot drive down the interstate being in this pain. So I did what any sensible person would do. I called in sick to work. And I took some pain medication that they had prescribed me that Monday and took a nap because, naps solve everything, right? And when I woke up from said nap, I could not feel anything from the waist down. Like nothing. I was like, what? Wait a minute. What? Couldn't feel anything.
Terrifying.
Like it was like, where is my body? What is happening? Right? Now, here is where you get to meet my infamous wisdom. So most people in this instance would immediately call 911.
Oh, yeah. Can't feel anything from the waist down. Someone come and help me. Yeah.
Leah calls her parents who live an hour and a half away.
Oh, right. Okay.
So my dad picks up the phone. I'm upset, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm upset. Freaking out. I explained the whole situation. God rest his soul. He was like, Leah, why are you not calling 911? I was like, but Dad, I don't have any pants on. Because I was in pajamas.
Right. Sleeping in your nightshirt.
A very modest person. Yes. So this is where we are.
I mean,
so
yeah.
Of all times to be modest, right?
And we know that that's the thing. Our brains can't process. We know that these first responders have seen so much worse. They've seen it all. It's not a big deal. And the modesty. The sheer, embarrassment. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so I waited the hour and a half for my mom to drive. We successfully acquired pants.
Yes. Yay.
Now that was interesting. When you can't feel anything, you're still freaking out. My mom is freaking out. I'm freaking out. My dog was freaking out. But 911 was called. The ambulance came. We went to the hospital. Off we went. So we get to the ER and, they're like, what happened? Telling them all the things. And I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm telling them the story. And then I'm like, did I just pee myself? It feels like I just peed myself. I have no idea what's going on. And my dad later tells me that as I'm telling them the story of what's happening, he says that a nurse, that I didn't see this, walks over and grabs a needle, takes it out of a package, walks to the bottom of my bed and sticks it into the bottom of my foot. And when I didn't jerk, when I didn't make a sound, when I didn't do anything, like he said her face, like she actually went a little white.
Oh,
And like he knew that the severity at that point that there was like, oh gosh, like there's no faking here.
yeah, right. Oh,
And so they called like the neurosurgeon that was on call because he wasn't at the hospital at this time. And they were like, take her to get an MRI. So they put me in the MRI machine. They sent him the results. And like literally 5 minutes later, he's like prepping for surgery. And I'm on the way in.
wow.
And so they prepped me for surgery because what had happened was that my disc at the base of my spine at L4, L5 had slipped into my spinal cord and had compressed those nerves. And that's why I couldn't feel anything, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And so then I had that emergency surgery that night.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
I mean, that's intense.
It was intense.
And unexpected.
Oh, so unexpected. Yeah. And so, when I woke up the next day, the surgeon, it was him and another surgeon, they came in and he told me two things I will never forget the rest of my life. And I will try not to get emotional. I feel it building. First, he said, had I waited 6 more hours, I would have been permanently paralyzed. I was like, well, I'm grateful my mom. We lived an hour and a half away. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Right. Oh, man.
But the second thing he said was that with nerve damage, there's no definitive way to like tell how bad it really is. So he said, I've done everything that I can do. And right now it's up to God what happens next.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he says, I don't know if you'll ever walk again.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked at him and all my medicated
state
being and very stubborn self and said, well, you don't know me very well. And you may or may not know God very well because we've got this.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I love a good challenge. His face was a little shocked when I said that. And I think that probably because when most people receive news like that, they may not have received it as a challenge like I did. They may have received it in a different way.
Yeah.
And that is all the Lord's doing. There was no Leah there. That was definitely all the Lord.
But let me pause here.
Yeah.
That was the Lord and Leah together, because I never heard this before until just now. I was like, you could have made an agreement with the enemy.
True.
Oh my gosh, I'm never going to walk again. And just went down that road. But your first response, your Christ-centered agency was like, no. And also let me say that I know that sometimes God has plans.
Yes.
And his plans could involve that you would never walk again. And if that happened, I feel like knowing you as well as, I don't know you like we're sisters or something,
right.
But like just knowing you as well as I do, I feel like you would have processed that, grieved that, and pivoted and like, okay, how's God going to use me next? So just.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, I will agree with you too. And I think though too that all my life, I had also heard, I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just kind of like really just like neon sign flashing.
Yeah.
For lack of better words, right? Just like that's instinctively like the first thing that came to mind. It's like, no, I can't accept this. We will give this a try, right? Like, granted, like you said, if it is God's will that I don't walk, we will face that when that time comes. Now, I have to be honest because it was not all rainbows, kittens, and butterflies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was a morning while I was in the rehab wing, because I was there for about 30 days.
Wow. Wait, you were in the hospital in the rehab wing for a month.
Yes.
Oh,
After surgery. Yeah. And this was probably maybe a week after I had been in there. The whole point of going into that rehab wing was I had to learn to like do everything all over again.
man.
And I'll talk about that here in a minute, but I want to tell this part first because this talks about like the mindset stuff that we were talking about. So, every morning they would come in, and because I couldn't feel my legs and because I'm not moving around, because all the things, they would come in and they would feel my legs and all the things because they were worried about blood clots, all the things, right?
Right.
So they would come in and do their normal test. And that morning they came in and they did their test and they were like, oh gosh. And I could see it in their face. And I was like, goodness gracious. And then they were like, you have a blood clot. And I was like, what? And then later that afternoon, they came in, they were like, oh, and you have MRSA.
Staph infection that's super hard to treat. Yeah.
Yes, in my incision. And I was like, oh gosh.
Oh, man.
And I had been very chipper every day up until it was like bam, 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 right? And I remember asking the nurses, the occupational therapist, the physical therapist, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, I said, I just need a day. I'm going to need, can you please close the blinds and just shut the light off and just let me feel my feels.
Yeah.
And I felt those feels. Let me tell you, I cried, I wailed, I let myself ask, why me? And I don't do that a lot. I was like, why all of this? And looking back, I think that God knew that I needed all those things to happen.
Needed to lament
Yes.
as well. Yeah, it's the lamenting.
Because he knows I'm the kind of person that I try to find the good in everything. And I think that in that moment, he was like, hey, Leah, I also need you to feel this. I need you to lean on me even more than you usually do.
Like full surrender. Yeah.
So like leaning into the Lord never really meant that I was pretending I was fine. It meant that I was being honest with myself and just feeling everything.
Yeah.
And then choosing not to stay in it.
That both and. This is
Yes.
hard. This is a lot of stuff and it's difficult and it's painful and I'm in this hospital for a month and I know my God and he is good and he is faithful and I trust him and it's hard. Both and.
Yes. And it's like just being able to feel all of that. And I feel like sometimes I sit back and I think about everything. And the one thing that really stands out to me about all of this is at the end of the week, the first week that I was down in the recovery rehab, the neurosurgeons came in and they had handed my mom and I this giant packet. And on the top of it, I saw these letters, CES. And my mom took the packet really fast and shoved it in the like the nightstand next to the bed. And she was like, we'll look at those later.
Yeah.
And I think that one choice that she made, such a wise woman she is.
Mama. Holla for mama.
I was like, I always hope that I could be that wise someday.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that set the tone for we're not going to focus on a diagnosis. We're going to focus on the recovery instead. And I'll take a side tangent here and just talk about the CES piece. So CES is cauda equina syndrome.
Okay. For anyone listening that can't see a piece of paper or our show notes, cauda equina, CAUDA EQUINA, equina, cauda equina syndrome. Okay.
Yes. So at the base of your spine, you have your nerves look like a horse's tail. So that's why it's called the cauda equina.
Oh, equina,
Mm-hmm.
equine,
Mm-hmm.
horse.
Exactly.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. So like when the nerves are compressed for, any amount of time, you could have partial or permanent damage, like I did, or like others do. And that's what they call the cauda equina syndrome. And it ranges from severe, like as in permanent paralysis, to mine, gratefully, where I have partial paralysis, meaning I can't feel like the backs of my legs or my feet, but I am still able to walk.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be hard.
It is.
Yeah.
But we make do. I think that as far as recovery was very humbling because this is where I wanted to talk about relearning to do things, because you don't ever think you're going to have to learn to walk more than once again in your life.
Right. Yeah.
As a baby, you learn to walk.
Yeah.
Right. Totally got it. Or sitting up.
Putting on socks and shoes. Yeah.
All of it. Right?
Pants.
Transitioning from the bed. Yeah. Rolling over. I had to teach myself how to transition from the bed to a wheelchair, how to transition from a wheelchair to how do I get myself into a shower?
Or the toilet. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Right. Or to sit on the toilet, or even how to use the bathroom again, because all of that was affected by all of this. And so being able to give myself grace, because let me tell you, I was frustrated with myself. Come on, body, muscle memory. We know what
Uh-oh. Yeah.
you know what you're doing.
The performer comes out, the micromanager part of our brains, you've got this. What are you doing? Why it's not that hard,
Right?
but it is. Yeah.
Right.
If you've been wondering if your struggles with food are normal, or if you need help, but you're just not sure where to start, we have created a brand new free eating issues check-in just for you. So this is a confidential tool that helps you understand your relationship with food and eating. And when you're done, you'll get instant, personalized results showing where you are now and what kind of support might help you. Plus, we're going to connect you with Christ-centered resources matched to your specific needs. So this just takes about 10 minutes, and it could be the brave first step toward the freedom you're seeking. So if you are ready to find out where you stand, take the Eating Issues Check-in at FINDINGbalance.com.
And then just trying to be patient. And I remember trying to learn to stand at the sink to balance myself well enough. Because if you think about if your feet have ever fallen asleep, the next time your feet go to sleep, try to safely, maybe I shouldn't tell people to do this.
Caution, warning.
But just caution at your own risk. But just imagine trying to go do something, if your feet were asleep like that all the time, right?
Yeah.
So trying to balance myself at the sink to brush my teeth and all the things, right? Or to fix my hair or to do this or that. And it just puts things into a whole new perspective of just having way more patience with myself and with other people.
And gentleness. Yeah.
Yes.
Understanding, compassion. Yeah.
Yes. Because just because we see somebody, because you could look at me walking, you would never know that I have partial paralysis.
Now?
Yeah, now. No, you wouldn't know. I mean, unless it was a bad day, I may have a little limp or I walk slower. But, just being able to have that, for other people. But I think that thinking about the recovery too, it came in stages because, I was in the wheelchair for a long time, and then it was wheelchair and it progressed to wheelchair and walker, and then it was walker and the cane, and then it was just the cane, and then I used the cane for a very long time. And then, from the cane, I was finally able to go walk on my own, but it was kind of slowing down and just kind of going through each of those stages and just really, I don't know, I don't want to say appreciating those stages, but just being in the moment each time.
Yeah.
But I think that like when I look back at that, the lesson for me was just really staying positive in each of those phases. And then just like every morning, regardless of what my attitude may have been,
Right.
just making a conscious decision to keep saying, to choose, that I can do this. I can get up. I was given this opportunity. The circumstances can be completely different. I don't want to say that I don't want to waste it, but I have to be able to just be grateful, right? Just be grateful to the fact that I can get up regardless of what this looks like.
Yeah.
However
Right
messy
now.
it
Yep.
is,
Uh-huh.
that I
Yep.
can get up and I can do it. And so like every
Yeah.
single day, it's like just trying to remember that and just like get up and like work on that, like whatever that was during that time. It was like, whether it was like 5 minutes, just like holding on to this and walking, or whether it's like using some arm weights to make my arms stronger or whatever it was. But yeah, so that's what kind of like what that going through all of that was.
And I can see that you were taking every thought captive. The thoughts might come that this is hard. Like, will I ever be able to walk on my own again, have proper balance and not feel pain or discomfort? And taking those thoughts, yes, the thoughts come, but taking them captive, they have to obey Christ, right? And so
Yeah.
then, and just changing your mindset of like with Jesus, all things are possible. I can walk, I can do these things. Now, I remember you saying a doctor said something to you that got you all fired up. I really wanted to hear that.
Yes. So after maybe even a year after surgery, I went in for a checkup with my cane, thinking I was doing so good. I was so proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's going to be so happy to see me and I'm doing so good and I'm walking. Yes.
Yeah, a year later. Yeah, right.
And I go in and he looks at me and he goes, why are you still walking with a cane? And I was like, that.
Like you thought it was this victory and
Right. And I
yeah.
was like, that audio that's like, do you see me? I see you. You see me. It's like, I was like, wait a minute. What? Like, does he not realize? But then I had to stop myself and I was like, but wait, why am I using this cane? Right? Like, is it a habit? Is it my safety blanket?
Yeah. Oh.
Is it out of fear? Like, instead of trusting Heavenly Father and leaning on God that He will take care of me. And while I am not quote unquote healed and made whole, like as far as like all is well with my body, but like I am able to walk unassisted.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So in true Leah fashion, I went home. And in my stubborn self, I was like, okay, well, we're going to do this. So I went home. And if you think about it, like I surfed the furniture.
Yeah.
So like I would walk, but like I would like touch furniture or like put my fingers out, touch the wall or like whatever was around just to kind of like hold myself, like just balance or more or
Stability.
less
Yeah.
just like moral support.
Right. Thank you, recliner, for supporting me in
Right.
this journey. Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Just to like kind of like be there or it's just more or less like reassurance, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, how like when a baby is learning to walk and they hold your fingers. It was like kind of like
Yeah.
that, right? Like I'm just
Right.
reaching out to hold my furniture's finger.
For a time.
Right. Just for
Yeah.
a time. And so within like, I would say a month or so, because I also did that at work too when I could. Like I would take my cane, I would leave it at my desk. And so like when I would go to the restroom or go to the cafeteria, I would surf the office, like the wall or other people's desk or things like that. And people didn't think it was weird because they knew me and they knew what was going on. And,
Yeah.
they were really supportive and go, Leah, go and that sort of thing. And so like, I was able to like let the cane go and
Oh,
be
wow.
able to walk unassisted. All because, he lit that fire under me. Why are you still walking with a cane?
Right.
and really pushed me to, let go of that safety blanket, because that's really what it was.
Wow. I mean, that's really good. It brought me into the picture of, do you want to be healed?
Yeah.
Right? And like to get up and walk. I mean, I know it's a different thing, but
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of. So now fast forward, and I don't want to be like fast forward and breeze over everything. It took
Right.
time for you to get there. What did it look like from there until now? Like, what does movement look like for you today? And how did you get there till today?
Yeah. It's always slow and steady. It's very much cautiously, but as long as I've got some good tennis shoes on and I can get someplace ahead of time and scope out the place.
Yeah, right.
As far as like the ground, is it flat? Do I need to like prepare myself, or do I need a walking stick? Maybe sometimes I just do need a walking stick or something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to not take it for granted. I mean, granted,
Mm-hmm.
there are days where I do get in my feels because I think it happens. The enemy does what the enemy does. And if I were to sit here and say, oh, everything is great and I am moving every day and very grateful, I think that would be not very truthful of me.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Thank you for that. Thank you for your honesty. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that, there are days where I don't move as much as I should. But I think that it's important that in having conversations like this, it reminds me again of how grateful I am that I can move,
Yeah.
and to not take that for granted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And to like, just again, hearing your story, the days when I'm like really, I'll just say it this way, when hormones are tanking because of
Yeah.
perimenopause and it's like the end of the month / beginning of the month, they will tank. They'll just drop low. And I'm like, it's just all of a sudden I'm really sad and self-loathing out of nowhere. And just body image is through the roof, just absolute hatred and
Mm-hmm.
disappointment and shame just out of nowhere because those hormone levels drop. And so it's in those moments, it helps to try to bring back memories, if I can, of your story or what my husband went through, or like back in the day when I struggled with endometriosis, chronic pain,
Yes.
horrible, horrendous pain that people couldn't see from the outside. And like you, I was good at faking it. It was excruciating and it was hard to move. I couldn't do the things that I would normally do in the way that I used to do them. And so fast forward to where we are now, my body doesn't look the way sometimes I wish it looked or the way society says it should look. But
Yeah.
whose lens am I looking at? Like I have to keep turning and remembering that the Bible isn't talking about the size and shape of our body, what it should be, that it needs to be. There's no requirements there, that Jesus loves me as I am in this body. I can move right now. I can do work for him and I can turn to him and seek him, right? Like, so I have to like go through this list, almost like a checklist in my mind to get me back there. And some days that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And so stories like yours are another helpful reminder of my body is a gift, just the way it is. Movement is a gift in this body, in this vessel, in this temple that I get to care for. And I'm caring for it in better ways than I used to when my body was smaller. And it's a process. Friends listening, like this is a process. And I pray that when you have heard Leah's story, that you will have some compassion for your own body, for what it can do for you, what you are able to not just achieve, but experience the joyful things that you can do with family, with friends, with Jesus, just you and Jesus by yourselves. It doesn't have to be fast and all or nothing. It can be slow and gentle and easy. It can be fun. It can be simple. It can be whatever it needs to be in the moment, in the season that you're in. And Leah, I want to know as we wrap this up, what would you say to the woman who really is like that, who desires to move her body but can't seem to find the way there? we hear the whole, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. And that really is true, because I get stuck. So what would you say to that woman?
I think I said something similar in the last episode, and not to be cliche for this episode, considering the topic.
Hey, it bears repeating. It must be important, because I can't even remember. So yay.
But I would say one small step, one foot in front of the other, right? Like literally one step. If all you can do today is one step here and one step there, then that is what you can do, and be grateful for that, right? Like, it doesn't have to be some giant production or what some influencer is doing on social media. What can you do in this moment?
With Jesus.
With Jesus. Right?
Yeah.
Like, just being able to not discredit what you can do. Because I think sometimes, and I'm speaking to myself too when I say this, I think that sometimes we get into our own headspace.
Yes.
And like, well, I can't do that, so why should I do this?
Agreeing with the enemy.
Right? Like, and then what happens when we do that? We get into the shame thing, and then we start to all the things, right? And so
spiral
like,
down. Yep.
Yeah. So like, if the desire is for you to move, then move in whatever way that feels good for you and that feels aligned with you. Grab your friend Jesus and do it.
Hey, yes.
Right? And I really believe that prompting is there for a reason. It's always there for a reason.
Right.
So pray over it, obviously, and then take the literal step. And trust him, right, with everything else. And you don't have to do the whole staircase.
Right.
Literally, you could do like this step and then step back down.
Yeah.
And maybe tomorrow you do 2 steps.
Love it. I mean, it's just like eating disorder recovery. There's so many years of lies and years of, struggle that you've gone through, and thinking and behaviors that we have to undo. And it's impossible to undo it all at once. And it takes those repetitive little steps that add up over time, just like you're saying, that make the difference. And sort of, it's one day you look back and you're like, man, I can't believe what life used to look like and what it looks like now, and what I've overcome. And I didn't do it alone. I had, a team, friends, Jesus with me, and just what a victory, what a testimony to overcome. Thank you so much for being here and sharing that story. I'm so excited that my friends got to hear you as well. And friends, you can find links to connect with Leah in the show notes. We got her website and Instagram and LinkedIn for you to connect. So Leah, thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Yay. Of course it has. Thank you for listening to the Old School Food Freedom Podcast. For over 20 years, Finding Balance has been helping people walk in freedom by discovering where Jesus fits into their struggles with food and body image. If you want more biblical truth and encouragement, head on over to FINDINGbalance.com and subscribe to our free daily vitamin devotional. While you're there, explore our Christ-centered Lasting Freedom online course and small group tools. You can help keep this ministry going by donating today at FINDINGbalance.com. See you next time. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe a particular course of action. If you have or suspect you may have an eating disorder, please consult your healthcare provider. If you desire to receive faith-based care, visit ChristianTreatmentFinder.com to browse professionals with the Kingdom Campaign Against Eating Disorders.